Hi everybody, Jo here again. Thanks so much for popping in. As always, lovely to spend time with you. I've been looking forward to this little crafty session today. Now, are you ready for the big day? Obviously, it's a week away. Well, less than a week, I think. Oh my goodness, I don't know where the time goes. So a couple of you have been in touch and said, now yes, you made all your Christmas cards early and you thought you were well ahead, but what happens if you need a last minute card? So I've come up with a monochromatic design that I think, and again, it's just personal, I think, totally made this up out of my head, but I just think it's very classy. And if you're new to Lavinia Stamps, and we have got some lovely new followers, and thank you to those of you that have got in touch, because it's lovely that we can have this, we can talk to each other. And you were saying if you haven't got a lot of supplies, you know, you can't make a full-on card with lots of inks. And I totally understand that. We all start off, you know, with limited supplies. Sometimes it might be you just unwell. Maybe you've had an operation and maybe you haven't got lots of supplies. It's all in your craft room and you're actually, say, sat in the lounge crafting. So what I thought is I'd come up with just using one ink pad and a couple of stamps. Now this you could actually do direct on the card blank. I've done mine on a piece of Multifarious card, but I think you could do this straight on the card blank, and I must admit I'm going to have a go later. In fact, I'm thinking of making a non-Christmassy, a birthday card in this. So again, I'm going to have a play with that, because that's what happens. I come in and have a crafty session with you, and it gives me more ideas of what I want to do. Now this one I've stamped in black, but I have made a couple of others just to show you. I'm going to be demonstrating the black version today, and obviously I've got my lovely envelope stamped up. And I'm just going to put that to one side, but I have made a couple of other versions. So I've created this one, look. And again, I love this one. And if you look inside, I've simply just put the word Christmas, a couple of our mini holly, and some Posca snow. Now this one, I used the Versafine Clair, the Pinecone. One of my favourites, as you know, and I love vintage cards. And if you notice, again, the difference, just to highlight with the banner, I have told you I have difficulty batch card making. So I like to make, and also if I'm giving cards to, say, my neighbours, I like to make them slightly different. So I may just alter the colour, but also look at this, my little almost postcard piece here, this white area, I've changed the size. So again, you could make this on a square card, you know, lots of possibilities. And there's just one more that I want to show you. I have a new ink pad, and we often get asked about what colours to buy. And I've got to be honest, I just started with black, then I went for brown, then I had to get a green, I had to get Shady Lady. But one colour I bought is this lovely Purple Delight, and I haven't used it very much. So do you know what? Often with a design like this, it's just a good excuse to use it. Now it might be, I think, do you know what? Purple's not my colour, it's not my bag. But I have actually got a couple of crafty friends who their favourite colour's purple. So this, and they decorate their tree in purple. So this is going to be that lovely pinky purple, a perfect card for them. So again, you know, you can change it up and make it specific to that particular friend. So the size of the card is, and I've written it on the back, there we go. So it's 7.5 inches by 3.5 inches. And this is perfect to go on this DL card. Now, a few of you have asked, DL just means double length. So in theory, this length here is double the width. It's often called a slimline card as well. I find them very elegant. And again, you can have them landscape, or you can do a portrait design. The along the edge design works beautiful on a DL. So what we're going to do first, now I've chosen a word from our lovely seasonal words, and I've gone for Christmas just because it's sort of the longer word. And this one I'm going to do the monochromatic, so we're going to use the black, the Nocturne. You can tell then I hesitated for a moment, I forgot what it was called. You know what that's like though, don't you, ladies and gents? So I'm just going to go for Christmas stamped sort of in the middle. Lovely. And I'm just going to give that a bit of a wipe. Look, old Inky Binky. Soon be Christmas and I can have my new one. Now what I've done, look, is I've taken a piece of low tack tape. Now you can either tear the edges, or for this one I'm just going to cut them. And again, as I say, you can decide on how big an area you want to mask off. This is the Lavinia low tack tape, and this one I think will do quite a wide area. But again, like I say, you can vary it. Now the first stamp I'm going to use is this lovely Mistletoe, and it's one I don't use it very often. So for me, this is the time to highlight a stamp that I possibly don't use as much as I should. I did go for the Pinecone branch because that's one of my favourites, and I thought, no, the poor Mistletoe stamp is there going, you haven't used me, come on. So I'm thinking, let's stamp this coming out here. And I am going to stamp over my low tack tape. Do be aware that your ink will dry. It will take longer to dry on your low tack tape, so you just have to watch for smudging. Now for me, I find it easier to turn my card. I did forget to mention, sorry, I did with my Sharpie or any black pen put a line all the way around before I started. But you all know how to do that by now, don't you? And again, me being me, I have to do it at the beginning, because if I do it at the end, you know, Mr. The Law of Averages says it's not going to work and I'll ruin my card. And especially if I'm happy with a card, that's when it happens to me. So I'm just going to do my Mistletoe once. And you see, I think that in itself is the beginning of such a beautiful design. Now I'm going to use a couple of the mini stamps. And the first one is this mini Winter Berries. Now I love this just because it means we can add some colour. So I'm basically just going to add a couple on there. And just because I want an odd number, so we'll go for 3 and we'll just add 1. I think if we just pop that one. And again, you're just going to play. You know me, pretend I'm a florist. I'm not. So I do apologise if there are any of you out there that are florists. It's something I would love to have done. So I'm coming in now with the Pound Holly. And I'm using 1st and 2nd generation. And I'm just sort of looking at my design and just deciding. Now I don't want to overcook this. I just want enough colour that it gives me a nice shape. So maybe just a little bit there, 3rd generation. Yeah, I like that shape. So I'll turn it round. And I do talk to myself like this when I am creating on my own. I do pretend you're here with me. So are you ready? How are you doing? Now, I do know that some of you are on your own. You've been in touch. And I know you're not keen on Christmas. I know it can be a hard time. So I will be here. I will have my video on next Monday and Tuesday. So if you want to spend some time with me, please come on in and we'll have a bit of a crafty play. I don't want you to feel lonely on Christmas Day or Boxing Day. Look at that. Did you see that? Where's that come from? My finger, look. See, I'm that busy talking. I'm chatting to you. These things happen. So when that happens, you have choices. In all honesty, what I could do, I could trim the card, but I'm just going to see sometimes it will actually rub off. So we'll see if it will. We might be lucky. It was a very faint. There we go. And you know what? I'm going to put some Posca, some snow on there so nobody will notice. Look at that. Happy with that. Now, my big tip now is I want this to dry, but also my low tack tape, this is Lavinia. It's fabulous. It really is low tack. But just to help it, I'm going to come in with my heat tool. Now, I've told you this trick before. It's fabulous. It just melts that glue a little bit more. But also, it will just help the ink dry, because I don't want any more of those black smudges, do I? So I'll dry it from the back. And just again, over that, And then if I just go in the corner, look, that will peel off. Beautiful. And I just think, how quick was that? But what I'm going to do is I want to add a little bit of colour to this. So I'm going to come in with my watercolour pencils. Now, I could, if I wanted... So on my original, I'll tell you what I'm thinking. On my original look, I went for a grey colour. And I coloured with, although it looks quite brown, it was the grey. But what I'm wondering is, with this, shall I do monochrome with a touch of red? It's not easy to say that, you know. Or blue. I'm going to add a touch of red, you know. I do this, I'm going to mix it up. I'm actually going to do slightly different to what we set off to do. So, if you were doing your monochrome card, you would come in with your grey. But I just fancy these berries adding a little bit of red. I'm not going to do all the berries. I'm not going to do the mistletoe. Just these three, just for that pop of colour. And I'm using my watercolour pencils. And also what I'm going to do is, I love the way these words are outlined. Now again, if you've not got a lot of time, you don't have to colour this in. The other thing is, choose a shorter word. So you could maybe have joy, because do you know what? That's definitely quicker to colour. And I'm just roughly, I'm not overthinking this. It's quite funny because I'm trying not to get my head in. Now, I do hope you all have a lovely day. And I know our lovely friends in Australia, New Zealand, hopefully you're going to have some sun and go to the beach, which seems very funny when we're here and it's very cold and they've predicted we might even get snow. Just shows you. So I'm going to do a little bit of my wink of colouring. As you know, I love this. I'm going to use my wink of Stella. Now I just want to check it's clean. And I'm going to come in and just move that watercolour pencil. And this way, it'll add colour, but it'll add the sparkle as well. And it's just going to give me, look, the right amount of sparkle. And I'm going to do my 3 berries first. And I've just left that little white highlight to save me using my pen. And then we'll just come in. And I do think if you're making a classy design, sometimes it's these beautiful little extra touches, just almost these finishing touches. They don't take a lot of time, but they can really take it and just make it look so classy. So we'll just work our way down. Like I say, I can't wait to have a go at this design, but I'm going to put the birthday wishes in the middle and use some of my other lovely florals. Now just think, if you're making a man's card, you could use the cogs and almost do a steampunk corner, couldn't you? Oh, you see, we've got so many designs. Right, important here, I will have some red, only a little. So I'm just going to clean my brush. Yeah, I like that, just with that pop of red. So what I'm going to do now, Posca, give it a good shake and just give it a little bit of pump. Make sure it works, because that nib is a pump action. Now I could have done this just around on the florals, but I'm happy to have it across the whole of my design. I just think it adds such a lovely touch, and it looks beautiful, look, on the black of the leaves. Now also we have choices here. So if I bring the cards in, it's how you finish it off. This one, I've added some pen and some little dots. And if you're happy with your fine liner, you can do that. So this one, I've just added my pencil and my wink of Stella. Another option. This one, I've just left it as it is. So it's really up to you what you want to do. So for this one, I think I'm just going to leave it. I love that nice shape we've got. So let's move this out of the way. And as I say, how quick was that? And if you just have a few cards to make now, you could really batch card make them. I think it would look nice in green, you know. I might have to have a go with my greens. So if I bring the original in, and as I say, the envelope, I did just the same for this one with the masking. But if you want to make a quick envelope, you can literally, as with this one, just stamp your sentiment and add one piece of holly. So I'll pop those there. So I hope you enjoy this. I hope it gives you a few ideas. And you know what? If you don't need a Christmas card this year, like I say, I'm thinking it could be a thank you card, a get well card, but just using this technique and adapting it. So thank you very much for popping in. I can't decide which one I like, whether I like the monochrome or with the pop of red. Oh, do you know what we like? So funny. I think after all, my brown one's the favourite, the vintage one. What can I say? So have a lovely evening. Enjoy the next few days and the build-up. And like I say, if you know somebody on their own, maybe drop them a special card or just a little gift on the door. That would be so lovely. Do you know what? If all of us thought about somebody on their own and just left them a little gift on the door, wouldn't that make a difference to the world? That would be so nice. Or just a card through the door. We're card makers. Just make an extra card. Use a topper. Do you know what? I'm going to do that with this one. There's a lady I see when I walk with Elliot and Jensen to school, and she has a Labrador, and I say hello to her. So I'm going to pop that through her door. So let's all do something nice. Anyway, better go. Still lots to do. Love and hugs from me. You take very good care of yourselves, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.